It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine. That's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. RC. Did you ever know that you're my hero?
Yo, I was just imagining this
And
the whole
everything I would like to be.
You know, it's so
I
kind.
can fly higher than an eagle.
You're too kind, Muse.
RC. For you are the wind beneath my wings. Thank you. Thank you.
Such kind words. Much like the from the movie Whitney Houston's "I Want to Dance with Somebody," where you can hear how the lyrics are illustrating what's happening in the film in relation to what's happening in the song. I can hear how the song is telling me how you truly feel about me as a person, and I really appreciate it. But
wouldn't it suck if my recording wasn't going? And I had to do it again. No, you just reminded me too, a little side thing. One aspect of I Want to Dance with Somebody, which, by the way, I love that fucking song. It's great. But
oh yeah,
there's one part of it that makes me laugh every single time.
What?
And it's towards the end. There's like the little breakdown in the bridge, and then it's like, and she's doing the like, don't you want to dance, say you want to dance, say you want to dance, and then there's just a voice that goes, dance.
Dance, yeah.
Dance. It's like, who the fuck is that?
Do it. It's the chorus girls behind the guy, like, that look like Grace Jones or something like that, just like creeping up on her going like, dance. It's like,
Dance.
okay, I'll do it.
You haven't seen him the whole song and he just pops
Right.
up.
Were you there the whole time? As you were singing that, there was like a random part where you went like, yeah.
While you were the one...
And I was thinking like, wow, I just imagined like you like Cartman singing this and
Come sail away.
No, when he's doing the Christmas song, the
Oh.
something.
That's right.
Like, you just like use you in Cartmanized form, South Parkized form, you know?
Oh, no. The reason I did that was because of a throwaway comment you made before the mics were live. Because we're talking about Plastic Beach, and you mentioned beaches, so the only other thing I was thinking of was making some type of melt in your mouth, not in your hand snowflakes joke. But it wasn't there yet. So what happened was, I think it was around International Women's Day or something that M&M unveiled the new purple M&M, who was, according to Mars, a non-binary M&M and had the shape of the peanut M&M. Tucker Carlson decided to go on his show and reference the M&M as being obese, even though the had the exact same shape as the peanut M&M, but, you know, I guess that's not important. And I wish I could bring up the exact wording, because he says something like, M&M has a new candy, and, you know, it's the non-binary and obese, so we're gonna talk about that because that's what we do. Like, it sounds like someone who knows how shit their fucking job is, like,
and you're like, you are the person making it a thing. Like, yeah, that's my thing. It's like,
we just waste time talking about fucking candies here. I can't believe this either, folks. You should just see how much I get fucking paid to do this. It would blow your fucking mind.
Yeah, it's like, you can focus on whatever you want to focus on.
And you do. You make up shit all the fucking time. You manufacture this outrage about all this bullshit that no one's complaining about. So we decided to make this whole big thing, talk about the M&Ms, and I honestly don't even remember seeing that much of a public outcry about either one way or another. I saw most people were just clowning on Tucker Carlson for just being a jerk, because he always is.
Right.
And M&M's posted a thing saying that they were discontinuing their mascots indefinitely. And in the meantime, Maya Rudolph was going to be their celebrity spokesperson. Now, I don't believe this. And I saw a lot of people being like, oh my god, I can't believe Mars fucking folded and they fucking gave in to the right-wing pressure. I don't believe they did. This has never happened before, especially not from this little bit of criticism. This is not how this works, okay? Companies, if you notice, they almost always lean into right-wing outrage because it's marketable. It gets people talking about it, and whatever gets people talking about it is good for business. I think not enough people were talking about the M&M outrage, so M&M's decided, well, let's just fuel the fire a little bit, shelve the mascots, because everyone's going to hate that, because everyone loves our mascots so much, I guess. The Super Bowl is coming up, right? I think this is just a way to let people know that Maya Rudolph is going to be in an M&M's commercial. Because why wouldn't you? The mascots will be back after that. I don't think they're going to be gone for very long. I think they'll be gone for just long enough for people to kind of miss them, I guess, or kind of forget about them.
Sorry, because I was just thinking about remember the Mr. Peanut thing where they turned it into a baby like Yoda?
Yeah, it's really like that. I was thinking that too when I was talking. That, yeah, it's just they're gonna put him to the side, they're gonna replace him for a little bit, and then they'll bring him back. This is why they did it after the holidays, by the way. There is no way that December 2023 is gonna roll around and we're not gonna see the fucking "they do exist" commercial.
Oh my god, wait, they're gonna replace it with Maya Rudolph? Maya Rudolph does exist!
They've been airing the same commercial for 25 years. There's no way they're gonna film a new one if they don't have to. You think they're gonna film a new fucking Kisses fucking Bells commercial?
Yeah, they gotta get updated Kisses.
No way.
These Kisses gotta have attitude.
Alpha, bring me Kisses with attitude. No, so yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that if you are in the camp of, oh my fucking god, I miss the M&Ms so much. And by the way, I think it's a missed opportunity not to have M&M. Like, I know Maya Rudolph is the family-friendly face that people know, but why wouldn't you just have Marshall Mathers?
Just fucking finally lean in. Has he done it before? He has to have done it before. Has Eminem done an M&M commercial?
Have him do a little M&M rap. Cause what? What the fuck else is he doing right now?
Why hasn't Eminem done a commercial for Eminem?
Someone at Mars thinks that he's too edgy. He's too harmful to their brand.
If he's in the goddamn third fucking I'm a villain but I'm a good guy, whatever the hell movie with Gru,
Despicable
Minions.
Me?
Yeah.
He's in that?
No, his song is playing on the ad for it, remember? Where it's like,
no.
This is like a job for me. Like, they play it in the ad for one of the movies. And I remember having that moment of just like, whoa. Like, in 1999, this would not have happened. People would be rioting.
They were using Without Me in the commercial for Despicable Me?
Yes.
The fucking song where he calls Moby a faggot?
Yes.
What? I'm sorry.
I mean, they clearly cut around that.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. Odd choice. No, the only song I remembered was that fucking "Hug Me, Bring It In." You know the one. It was a Pharrell Williams and Trey Parker. To bring it back to South Park, they fucking had a song that played over the ending credits, and it was a big TikTok sound there for a while.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only Despicable Me song I knew.
No, you don't know about Because I'm Happy.
Oh, God, Happy. Song from the motion picture soundtrack Despicable Me, or whatever the fuck that long as hell title. I honestly have never seen any of the Despicable Me or Minions movies, so I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, something tells me you don't need to check out the extended...
The Grooniverse?
Oh my god.
Oh, but shit.
Yeah, this is just, like, who cares? What's happening?
Because every fucking time Coca-Cola does something woke, that people get pissed off about or whatever.
Oh, Mr. Potato Head, they're dropping the potato because they just want to be more inclusive because, yeah, sure,
I don't think they did anything. I think they just went along with it. And there was way more outrage about that. You can have right-wingers say they're not going to buy an appliance, something that's actually more of an investment, right? But candy is cheap. There's no way that just because Tucker Carlson says something on his show about an obese M&M, that people would all of a sudden decide, you know what, fuck it, I'm not buying M&Ms anymore. Because if you want M&Ms, you're gonna buy the M&Ms. It doesn't matter.
M&M drops mascot after Tucker Carlson leads bizarre conservative outrage over less sexy redesign. Like, I love how that's the outline. Just kind of like, yo, why is this guy going weird like this? Because, yeah, that's the thing. Didn't he say, like, they're making him, like, it was a specific quote of him going, like, oh, they're giving him, the women less heels. Oh, that we can't make cartoons sexy anymore? And it's just like, bro, why are you concerned?
See, you were over here thinking that he was outraged that they were too sexy. No. Right? He wants to fuck that hard candy shell chocolate candy.
He's hard for that hard candy.
He's down bad for the green M&M. I get it. We've all been there, haven't we, folks?
Oh, that's the thing I couldn't believe. That was the Bizarro World turn that I was like, what's hard?
No, he's going down the fucking quartering. The goddamn She-Ra isn't hot enough, even though she's like an underage girl. I want all of my cartoon women to be busty and tall and super feminine, and they can't use weapons because then that's too masculine, and I can't jerk to that.
Jerk off to him.
I want to batch to my fucking cartoons made for children. The quartering cries. No wonder he's not on fucking Twitter. Good riddance.
M&Ms will not be satisfied until every last cartoon character is deeply unappealing and totally androgynous. Until the moment you wouldn't want to have a drink with any of them. That's the goal.
Wouldn't want to have a drink?
Bro, did you look at your script before you read this? Like, did someone anchorman you just now? Like, why do they want them to be less hot?
That was also, I gotta give you credit, a very good Tucker Carlson impression. RC, you are the inspiration. You are the wind beneath my wings.
You're the meaning in my life. No.
Oh. No, so I'm just gonna say, like, I think this is just some bullshit, and I don't think it's really gonna change anything. I'm sure the mascots will be back before too long. Hey. You won't even notice.
Hey, but Tucker, there's a whole, like, group of people on the internet that are into, like, androgynous things that aren't people, kind of like you can, you know what I'm saying? If you weren't so uptight, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you could get in with them, because that kind of sounds like that's where we're going here. Like, don't they have different, different terms for the different types? I mean, I don't know what a shelled animal would be called. There must be something for people who are into turtles. I know there's
furries, I know there's scalies.
Right. But what would be a be-shelled animal?
Though, outside of that. Yeah, what are fish?
A sheller,
scalies?
Fish.
What are you doing?
I was saying birds.
Birds?
Like featheries?
Featheries?
Yeah, but what
about a turtle? Is that a scaly?
But a shelled animal, because we're going for M&Ms, because that seems to be his type, you know what I'm saying?
That's right, okay, yeah.
So a sheller,
A shell, yeah. Or you could just go the complete other way around and just shove a fucking Snickers up his ass because it always looked like a dick anyway. It's got the vein. So I don't know. I'm just saying he has options. I'm not, like, he's putting all his fucking, his Rufflestover's Easter eggs in one basket.
Yeah, he's looking...
you're limiting yourself.
He wants animated characters that he can have a drink with, that you might be attracted to. Have you tried the internet, dear boy? Have a Google.
You're making me think of that fucking, Doug was a bartender and the video game characters would come in. That's what you're reminding me of right now. Like, the fucking green M&M came down and had a drink, and the Twix rabbit sat down. I don't know. I can't think of any other candy mascots. The zebra stripe.
Oh, Tony the Tiger.
the fucking zebra from Fruit Stripe Gum came in and sat down. And the punk rock duck with the nose ring came in and sat down. I don't know. They're all gum.
Oh, Captain Crunch. He's you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I could talk all day about cereals, but I'm thinking about candies though.
Oh, well, I mean, what the hell is most American cereal other than candy?
Oh,
I'm getting political.
They already have a Sour Patch Kids cereal, so even our candy is cereal, and our cereal is candy.
Reese's Puffs. I mean, we already kind of broke the veil.
Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
Yeah, we're through the looking glass on this one.
The singularity is real, folks. I'm just here to tell you, the lines of reality have been blurred.
Yeah, and the woke mob out there don't want you to have sexy animals in your mascots that you want to jerk off to. That's what they want to stop. That's the real thing that they're after. Muse is going to try to shut me down and say, "Oh, I'm being paranoid." Because they make it ridiculous so that they can try to take away my jerk material. Well, I don't have the internet. I don't know how else I'm going to get this stuff. Where do you guys keep getting this internet that you keep telling me about?
I already know better than to try to silence you. I can't hold you back. There are no handcuffs big enough to restrain your freedom of speech, RC. Especially when it comes down to fuckable animal mascots.
Yeah,
which there are no shortage of.
Or not just animal, but, food related to the animal. So I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, motherfucking, the snack that smiles back goldfish. You know, why don't they why is there no fucking, shoe heel lace or whatever the fuck on one of those, huh? So I can tell the genders, huh? What's going on with that, huh? Why don't we make that political?
Yeah, I guess they're all like Toad, or at least how Toad used to be, where it was all just like genderless. They're all,
I want my gushers to have bows on the girls so I can tell which ones are girls that I can be horny for.
I'm not going to give my son any pink candies because I know what those do.
So I can know which ones are for the girls, which ones are for the boys, and which ones I need to keep for later to jerk off to.
Sorry, son, it's blue raspberry and nothing else, and you're in luck because it's always the best flavor of candy anyway, so good for you. You've won the lottery. The genetic candy lottery. But anyway, besides that.
What an asshole. Anyway, yeah.
I don't think we really have time for it at this point because we've already talked at great length about that. But I also wanted to address the what people are talking about, the Facebook, Instagram, non-binary breast ban lifting.
Oh, what's up? Yeah, what is up with that? I haven't heard about that.
A listener of the show, Emma, who requested a couple albums back in the day, sent me the New York Times or New York Post article, and it was saying that Facebook and Instagram were going to be allowing you to post bare breasts and nipples, but only if you are non-binary or trans.
Huh? How are they gonna?
Well, see, here's the thing. First of all, my first red flag was that it was a New York Post article, and they're essentially like the Sun or the Daily Mail. They're an American right-wing publication at this point, so I already knew to take this story with a grain of sand. I knew it wasn't exactly going to be what it said in the headline. It was going to be clickbait. It's just supposed to piss cis people off. Like, why can't I post? And the wording in it is such a way that I honestly think for non-binary people and for trans people, I think it's only going to apply to people who are flat-chested. So this is female to male post-op who have had top surgery. That's going to be okay. You can show your nipples because you don't have breasts anymore.
Well,
But I don't think anyone, trans or non-binary, regardless of their gender, is going to be able to post a topless picture if they aren't flat-chested. I think that's still going to get struck with a flag.
So my fat ass can't post a picture is what you're saying here. Is that what I'm really hearing? What's going on right now?
Yeah, it doesn't specify cis men.
Well, now we're seeing the real discrimination.
Yup, it's true.
Just trying to, all of this woke agenda's just trying to keep men from trying to keep fat men from putting their nipples on our Facebook pictures. I knew it all along.
Was the picture just going to be your nipple, like a close-up?
Censor this, Facebook.
Oh,
shit. I'm fucking Peter Griffin over here. Hey, whose side poop is dead?
That Family Guy reference is old enough that I actually get it.
I'm not watching
that show
Family
in
Guy.
like
Jesus Christ.
15 years.
I saw some Family Guy short thing on YouTube that was just like, season 21, Lois gets a haircut like some recent celebrity, I think. And I'm just like, don't even care. I don't even care.
That sounds like gold.
Yeah.
You reminded me. I was going to ask. The fucking Rick and Morty news.
Oh my god! Yo, I could not believe I straight up whoa, false imprisonment and like that sort of thing, and it's just like and then texts with like girls with the weird shit he was saying, man. Did you read that shit? It's just like,
yep.
That's not appropriate.
That's bad.
Like, that's not even someone is kind of exaggerating the thing. If you look at the whole thing, it's like, nobody.
They're gonna have to find a new voice actor for Rick and Morty.
Rick. I think we're gonna need a new voice actor because the guy who's voicing us is gonna do some real bad stuff. Shut up, Morty. I know this great guy. We go progressive. We get a black guy. You know, let's move over everything. Pizza Hut did it with Shaq or whatever company it was. It'll be great.
I hear he does a good Beavis and Butthead too.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna be at the helm of all of these, bringing back all of these shows. Whenever you find out something awkward or problem, you know what? I'll even do Velma. I'll try to figure out that voice.
Oh shit! You over here like Nelly? Let me in now. Dan Harmon, Mike Judge, let me in now.
Oh man, what a great transition! Because holy shit, did you hear about what happened with that?
No. Okay, so I had no interest in watching the Velma show from the jump.
Hell no.
I didn't even know it was going to be a thing until I saw the release trailer, and I was like, this is
I got
kind of rough.
slightly interested when I heard it was Mindy Kaling. I was like, another remake of the Scooby-Doo thing. They're just doing it to keep the IP alive, whatever. And then it was like, oh, Mindy Kaling. Oh, maybe they're gonna do like, you know, like Office, sort of like have, you know, funny jokes. And I saw like one clip, and it was like the first clip that I saw before any of this became, you know, quote unquote political, was just like the Shaggy look to the camera. I'm not doing drugs because I don't think they're good or something like that. But it was just such a like,
I don't like drugs.
Yeah, it was such a but line. It was just like, ew, dude. Like, I get what you're trying to do, but you got to try harder than that. That was I could smell the flop sweat on that fucking line, you know.
Oh yeah, not being afraid to say what you want to say like a comedian before the Me Too era.
And the thing that's even more confusing, because like I can kind of get, it's like, okay, you're trying to go for a Harley Quinn type of show, right? You know, like, an irreverent new sort of take on a beloved property. But it's just like, it doesn't even make sense for Velma's character to say that, because isn't she supposed to be the SJW, you know, super like wokey, blah, 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 isn't that what they would be playing? So why would she be saying that joke? Wouldn't it be like some douchey guy? Like that, like it kind of rung like a, you got something on your mind, Mindy? Like, you know what I mean?
That's what I saw. People were like, Mindy is, Velma is Mindy's self-insert, and she's gonna be able to get all of her less than progressive views out through Velma and be like, oh, no, I'm using a character. It's okay. Velma said it, not me.
It's like, at least be smart enough to make it like clearly not progressive character, so you can try to be like, I know I wrote the script, but if I make it this guy saying it, then it's cool that I still got my aggression. You know what I mean? Like, at least mask it. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
and even then, it wasn't Velma liking J.K. Rowling tweets. That was Mindy. So.
Oh shit.
But what else came out? Because I might not be up to speed on this.
It was specifically a handsome dude who was on the set of one of their shows. She brought it up on like a Jimmy, one of those Jimmys that does night shows that no one
Jimmy
watches
Carson.
anymore. Yeah, sure. And he was going like, you know, she's telling the story and she's like going off and just kind of going like, oh, so, you know, there was this guy that was really cute and we're going to have him on the episode of the show. And I think in the episode, it's like something about her, like this guy being drunk and her like bringing him to the room with him and being like, yeah, it's going down. But like in this, yeah. So, but in reality on the set, that, like, she was like, oh, everyone was kind of like talking about how cute this guy is, so, we were about to do a line or something like that, and he's like so tall and imposing, so, I just went for it and just kind of kissed him on the lips. I went, and then, like, he was kind of like taking it back in shock, and it was just like, oh, whoa, what's happening there? And then when, like, she was kind of like trying to play it off, and then when someone brought it up to her to be like, hey, what are we gonna do about what just happened back there? And she goes like, tell anyone and you're fired. And it was just like, she says it on the show like it's like a laugh line, like hey, and this is what I did to ease the situation. And it's like, that's using your power over somebody and sexually harassing them. Just because it's a woman doing it doesn't make it not what it's happening, Mindy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, that with, I think it was with Katy Perry, remember? Yeah, yep. Where it's like, I'm not an imposing figure, so it's cool for me to, like, no, consent still goes both ways, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between. So yeah, that's the thing that kind of got drudged up after. It's just like, yeah, because what is that chip on your shoulder that you're kind of having right now? She's trying to be a progressive person, but then it's like, as soon as it hits a little close to home, all of a sudden, you don't have the consistency, like.
This is some housekeeping I was supposed to do at the top and forgot.
Oh, right.
We switched providers for the show. So I got a couple comments saying, hey, I've been listening to the show for a while. Now all of a sudden I'm getting notifications about all these episodes saying that I haven't listened to them yet when I know I've listened to them. What's going on? Well, I'll explain. Last week, or the week before, when we were recording the last episode, after we were done, I made a comment about uploading the episodes to SoundCloud and using the SoundCloud RSS feed that was then getting sent out to Spotify and iTunes. And I made a remark. I already feel bad putting myself out here like this because people are already going to be, oh, honey, no. But to get an unlimited upload on Spotify means like you can upload as much as you want. I had to pay like $100-something a year to get SoundCloud Unlimited or SoundCloud Plus, whatever it is. And I was like, I know there's a better way, but I just don't know what it is. And you just offhandedly were like, I just use Anchor. And I had no idea what that was, and I've never heard of it, never looked into it. And since then, I've uploaded every episode of the podcast from 100 on to Anchor. And I've also taken the time to go back and all the episodes that were unlisted from Spotify and YouTube. I'm going back and re-editing those episodes now. So episodes 1, 2, and 3, a couple in the 80s, the episode we did with Mega Ran. I'm trying to go through them, edit them, cut out stuff that hasn't aged well, stuff that's just, for people who have been following us for a good while, the first string of episodes, I wasn't cutting anything out. So these episodes would be like 2 hours.
We're recording stuff, sure, whatever. We're just going to talk for a while, whatever. Let's talk about Charles Manson or something.
And we would just fucking ramble. And there'd be good stuff in there, but there'd be a lot of times where it's just like, oh, let me look this up real quick. Yeah. And then there'd just be like a minute of silence and just be like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yes!
So, I'm not even lying. I've posted like an episode from way back when, and it's like a half hour. Like, this is the good shit. All the other stuff is gone. The boring shit, the problematic shit.
The awkward shit.
You gotta understand. We've been doing this show for 9 years.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
We're heading into our 10th year next year.
And when we started off, we weren't the statesmen of internet representatives that we now find ourselves at least feeling to be. Like when like nobody cares about what I'm going to say, so whatever.
We had some growing up to do, but everyone does. Everyone goes through that. I don't think we're alone in that. So sure. I'm just letting y'all know. We're also on Google Podcasts, and I think we're also on iHeartRadio.
Oh, and let's not overlook that your good pal Muse has been supporting the show by doing what they had been doing. So, you know, if this is an appropriate time as any to plug that Kofi, Kofi.com
you know,
/ going off, you know, if you would like to.
If you want to help reimburse a little bit, because using the SoundCloud for X number of years, $100 a year, it added up, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that is a good segue, because I did want to mention, yeah, the Ko-fi is super important. That is how we get the album requests, and we got 2 of them today. But I did want to let y'all know, because the plan has been for a while now, that if we get the queue down low enough, we will lower the price a little bit until it gets high again. With that said, our last few episodes have been stellar. Y'all have been giving us a lot of really great stuff to review. I've said this before, like, the show is what it is because of y'all giving us the albums to review. If you want us to go through these quicker, maybe request shorter albums. Because,
your request
a
is
lot
symphonies.
of them...
No, I'm kidding.
A lot of them are like 45 plus minutes. Some of them are more than that. And that's fine. You know, we don't mind doing it.
Look, they're trying to get their money's worth.
Exactly,
Who are you to tell them?
I get
This
it.
is their freedom of speech, Muse.
Yeah, I understand why y'all are doing it. But
What Muse is trying to say is that we try to work in shorter requests every now and then so that we can get through it quicker. So if you request one that's shorter, yours is probably going to get a little ahead of the queue. So maybe that's a little incentive there.
yeah, that's true. We have been trying to do first come, first serve for the longest time, but when it comes down to trying to do 3 albums in an episode, we try to get a shorter one, like a couple shorter ones and one longer one to even it out. But we don't really have any short ones left. We have a couple, but not many. So, yeah, we don't have a lot of options right now. So we're only going to be able to do 2 album episodes for a while. So if you request a shorter one, yeah, odds are it might get reviewed sooner than later. We'll just say that. But yeah, that's Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/goinoff, GOINOFF.
Dr. Goatman, coming back in, requested Gorillaz Plastic Beach, the 3rd main album from Gorillaz. This was at the time when I was at my what do you call it? My starting to have buying power. I was starting to be able to have money.
Oh, I get you.
And so it's like, hey, now I can, participate in buying choices right before it, the years when it didn't even matter anyway, because everyone's just buying and streaming and shit now. But,
I only just recently bought this one.
Still, if there's artists that you love, you still want to support them. You still want to get their album and shit. And oh my God, this was the album run that I was the most cognizant of actively, you know what I'm saying? As like growing up. So it's like, this is where I was the most frustrated in seeing how the album rollout happened. And that there was the first music video and it was like, all right, the video for Stylo, wouldn't be like, it's not my favorite like track that I would have, but okay, dude, they got Bruce Willis. Yeah, we're going to get that next video, right? And they like, maybe we'll do Melancholy Hill. And it's like, what? Are they not gonna do Melancholy Hill? Like, maybe. Okay, I guess. Here's Melancholy Hill. But it's like the first 40 seconds are just like a whole bunch of stuff. But like, and it's just like, okay. Well, when are we gonna get the other 2 videos? And it's like, those ones didn't do that well. So I don't know. No. And I'm like, but we got the screen, we got the schematics for them and everything. Why can't you please just do the video? And they're like, I don't know. We want to do one for Superfast Jellyfish. I don't know.
Oh, that sucks.
I don't know. And so it was just like, oh my fucking God. Just like, it just felt like, a damage report. Like checking in every couple of weeks just to see, like, are we actually going to get anything? Are we actually going to get anything?
I was not as aware of this one when it came out. I remember actually not being in love with it when I first heard it back in, I guess, 2010. Because I guess I was just expecting something more like the first two.
And also, this is the first one, I think, where he doesn't have someone else producing with him. So I remember that one making it hit kind of different, you know? Like, yeah. Halfway
through, I had to check Wikipedia because I was like, who the fuck, man? Who is responsible? In a good way, I needed answers, though, because I was like, holy shit, these are really... And then to just see Gorillaz all the way down...
Yeah.
Was like, oh, fuck, okay. Goddamn. Yeah, this is really, this was solid, man. Not without its low points, though.
Yeah.
I gotta say, very interesting choice, to say the least, to put your worst foot forward.
Yeah, your most famous foot forward, you could say. Because it's just so, like, what? And this was around the time where they, like, did a couple of songs together. Because, like, Gorillaz did a song.
Really?
Yeah, David Albarn did a song on the Dogfather album. And that was also just a half-ass sort of song. And it's just like, yeah, I don't think this works. I don't think, you know, like, Snoop's not putting his heart all the way on this. Gorillaz, you don't feel... And it didn't seem like they were being forced to do this. It seemed like they were just like, what? Yeah, does this work? And it's just like, I feel like this is something I would have wanted to see in the early 2000s, you know, to be like, oh my God, what? Fresh off of, and then he's doing a track with Gorillaz, you know, like, but yeah, it just felt like so just energyless, these collaborations. So just starting off with that orchestral intro where it's just like, okay, it's just kind of there. I'm like, all right, just welcome you up. Maybe you're like, you know, you're you know, showing up on the shore, you know, you're lapping up on the shore, you know what I'm saying? You're slowly awakening to seeing what's happening, you know, and then and then somehow Snoop Dogg is here, but he didn't have a full verse, so he had to stretch out the parts that he had.
I resented Snoop for distracting me from this synthy, brass-blessed instrumental with these uninteresting lyrics and his, you know, his way of delivering lines. Yeah, this was not the warmest of welcomes if I was showing up on Plastic Beach.
Yeah, it feels like there's like he's like a drunken sort of like stupor with a straw hat on, just kind of go, hey, welcome to the Plastic Beach. Like, you know, in between blackouts, he's welcoming you. It's like, who is this guy? Yeah. Why is this our welcome? Where is he going? He keeps leaving. You know, like, what is happening? And I remember, like, they did, like, a video for this where he's, like, on, like, a little captain's boat sort of thing because he apparently can't film in England because he's banned there for because, you know, he smoked pot or something like that. So that's still an effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Huh.
So they filmed something where he's like, oh, look, he's in the big top hat and he's got the eyeglass and he's looking around and da-da-da. And it just so feels like, it's just so like, why did we even get Snoop Dogg to even film this? This is such a waste of time. Like, nothing is happening. Write an actual full verse. I think I actually, I don't know if it's available anywhere, but I actually ended up doing that because, you know, for me, I'm like a really big Gorillaz fan. You know, I like, you know, they inspire creativity. So I was like, okay, there's so much of this where there's just nothing happening. So I just wrote a verse like in between what he was saying, because I was like, I just want something else to happen other than, yeah, the kids gather around, I need your focus, something, the world is hopeless, Neverland. Like, what's happening? Say something. Speed up. What are you doing?
The hypnotic brass ensemble were on point. Was really digging what they were doing.
So it makes it feel like even more of a waste where you're just like, why is he here?
No clue. It also kind of felt like White Flag was also kind of an introductory track.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we needed a Welcome to Plastic Beach and then this. Like, this would have been fine on its own.
Definitely a triple intro. And while I do think it's better than the first track, there is a bit of it that feels a little bit like they just kind of mashed two things together instead of it really feeling like they're integrated into each other as parts, you know what I mean?
It was jarring. I liked it, but it was kind of, whoa.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Like, it even comes in, there's like a little bit of distortion that feels like it still kind of wasn't cleaned up, you know what I mean? At the beginning of the verse, it's just like, what is happening right now? And I mean, I guess it's descriptive, but it's like, it just feels like they don't like follow the concept enough for the real like, you know, because it feels like it's supposed to be like, oh, the intro, you're introducing it to us, but it's just like, this ain't Atlantis, are you sure? I nearly suffocated when I touched the shore. No rain, condoms it poured, and up the road you'd never guess who I saw. Like,
yeah, like what?
Yeah, oh, there's no rain here, only condoms. Like, I get it with it being from like a metaphorical, like, oh, whenever you want to do it, but it's just like, that's just such a weird description. No rain. It only rains condoms. That's just such a weird descriptor.
What is Plastic Beach? Like, is it a thing, or like is it something otherworldly, or is it just?
It's a play off of, you know, that big trash heap.
The Garbage Island.
Yeah. That's like.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the Sun, Moon, and Stars guy who like painted it the way he did, because he was trying to get them for something, but the whole story of that just kind of feels like it just petered out. I remember, because again, they couldn't finish the fucking videos, and so you're just kind of like left with this ambiguous, like, oh, this is the first time they really had an antagonist. What's he gonna do? And then it's just like, hey, if you know, ask him later on, they'll tell you what it was, but we didn't have time to finish it. And it's so just like, oh, god damn it. It's the blue balls of an album.
Hate that.
But, and even so, like, Mos Def as the Sun, Moon, Stars. First of all, just that name is just so, like, what is that? Sun, Moon, Stars. Like, that's not a name. And it's kind of a thing where they, like, kind of leaned into it with the Do Your Thing video, where it was just like we didn't really resolve this plot. So, I mean, this isn't real. Like, he is just kind of like a character that we created. So he's just kind of, like, chilling there in this video. It's just like that's
what
such a, god damn it, Gorillaz.
No.
This is so you. But yeah, we'll get to the disappointingness of the Mos Def later. Sorry to spoil it, but oh man, a lot of this album really is.
Feeling Mos Def.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But like the White Flag, like the rap is okay, but it just feels like it doesn't really like focus as well on like really telling you what's happening. Because this really could be the descriptor where Snoop Dogg fails, and it feels like it's still kind of really not really giving you the imagery, you know what I mean, in a real full way. I feel like other Gorillaz tracks really like pull you into, you know? There's something that just felt a little slapdashed about how this came together, you know? Like, I did like it when the orchestra came in at the end. It felt a little better, but there's just something about the beginning that felt a little, oh, it's a rap song, but with an orchestra. Isn't that different? And it's just like, I mean, okay. But, you know, you didn't really put them together. You just kind of like bookended them, you know? Like,
it was weird that they put the two songs with the orchestras back to back like that.
Yeah.
You could have like maybe bookended them or something, but you front loaded it to where it was like, geez, we're just getting them back to back here. Yeah, I liked White Flag, and honestly,
I'm fine with it. It's like, I don't hate it, but it's just like, I just don't find myself actively wanting to come back to it. And as far as, like, I'm usually the person who likes the Gorillaz rap songs, you know, because that's the one where my brain, like, as a kid, like, you know, attached onto it more, you know, because I like the rap song, you know. But now Rhinestone Eyes is a fucking smasher. The fucking Gargoyle Man Sprechstimme vocals he does, like, god damn it, I can't resist it.
Yeah, it's interesting because the groove.
And how it builds every hook part, like, yeah.
But then 2D's vocals are just like, you know, 2D's vocals. So they don't really match the energy, but they mix really well.
So that's him getting the most in his talk-sing bag.
Yeah.
Then we get to Stylo. And, you know, I thought coming at it, you know, I always try to be like, oh, how am I going to feel about it with fresh eyes? But I'm just not feeling it as much. Like, I remember listening to it and getting, you know, just being like, oh, snap, Mos Def, and seeing the music video where, you know, Bruce Willis is going to be so cool. And just something just felt so underwhelming to it when it starts off and it's just like, oh, snap, and here comes Mos Def, he's kicking it off. Love, electricity, shockwave, central, power on the motherboard, yes. Okay, that wasn't really like a... Right. Okay, what's happening?
Oh no.
Push up, overload, legendary heavy glow, sunshine, thunder roll, keep this on. What? That didn't... What is happening? Yes, the lantern burns firm and easy and broadcast so raw and neatly. Thunder roll, sunshine, working out. I'm like, oh god, is he just doing a fucking bridge? Like, what is... Like, what is this? And then he comes back at the end just to do the same thing. It's like, oh, come on. What a waste.
I thought he was okay. Like, up to that point, I was like, this is a good song. Bobby Womack, though, fucking makes it.
No, but here's my thing. I feel like these feel like they're just 3 different songs happening. They don't feel like they're connected.
Yeah.
They don't feel like there's anything that guides them making it sense from, oh, here comes the verse, and here comes the... Even the fact that there's like a couple of seconds in between them, it still doesn't feel like they're connected. You know what I mean? Like when Bobby Womack comes in, there's only one way. Like that's strong and incredible and powerful. But then I'm like, was that really related to what the hell was just happening with the Mako fly? You know, like it does not feel like we were in sync here, you know? Like even in the way that, oh, sure, you could say like, oh, is the Clint Eastwood verse really related to what's happening in the hook? But like, it still feels cohesive. You know what I mean? Like,
you know something I didn't expect? Me liking these songs more than you.
I think it's just because I was like, I've had the disappointment of being like, you know, coming up and being like, oh, well, Gorillaz, that group that as a kid, like, I just kind of messed around with their music and didn't really know much about them. And then when the second Demon Days album, really kind of being like, oh man, I'm a super fan. These guys are so awesome. I can't wait to see what happens next. And then just waiting around, and then just getting this sort of like, what
context does matter. Yeah.
And now Gorillaz has never always been like absolutely perfect or whatever, but there's just something that feels a little disconnected, and it is that feeling that we brought up, that it's just like he's just doing this all himself and there's no other person who really has like, you know, a thumb down on a specific idea that he wants to pull the direction in, that really I feel like worked with the first 2 records, you know? And there's just something about this that just feels like it needed something to pull it together. And then, like, I actually, you know, I like the 2D parts where it sounds like there's like 2 verses happening in between them. Like, I think that's a cool idea. Like, but I also feel a little disappointed because it's just like, but they don't really do it the second time. Like, you know, it just kind of starts, but they don't really do it again. They just kind of have the juice, you know, like, and so it just kind of feels like that was a cool idea. And you just kind of half did it that time. And then, oh, you got Mos Def, and oh, he's just doing the same verse. And yeah, you got Bobby Womack, but does that really feel like it's connected to what just came before it? You know, like, just something doesn't feel like through lined into how this song is coming out. You know what I mean?
What did you think of Super Fast Jellyfish?
Another one I was disappointed in, man. Like,
oh my god, this is a 5 for me.
Oh man, I got to say it. De La Soul. We talked about it again and again.
What the hell is going on?
I'm
so confused.
This is the one that's always been, that at least
up
for me.
Up is down, left is right.
This is the one that's been a bit of a troubled production, because this is the Feels Good Inc. worked? Okay, let's do it again, you know? And so it's like, let's have De La Soul cover the song, except now it's a lot slower, so I can kind of make out their raps a lot more, and now the abstractness that was kind of fun and breezy before, now it's just kind of like, what are you saying? You know what I mean? And it's like, wait, is any of this rhyming? What are you guys doing? Yo, pretty packages of Frosted Delights. Look, it comes with a toy. I like that. I want a number 4, number 6, and throw in a plastic donut. Just enjoy the gritty crunch. It tastes just like chicken. What rhymed there? Like, what? And it's just kind of like, are they doing an act? Are they doing this is me and my puppet Bobo, and like, what's happening? It just feels like this weird thing that kind of starts but doesn't really amount to anything. Like, they're doing this thing of like, there's the one main rapper, but then there's the other guy doing a doofy voice, and it's like, why is this happening like this? And they don't really like bring it to anything, you know? It's like, I don't know. Like, the second half of the verse, I feel like is cooler. The all hail King Neptune, it is one of me. Like, I think that works a little better as it works. But like, there's something about the track that feels like a little too basic. Like, just the way how it just starts with the Rihanna pre-setting drums, the psst, you know what I mean? It just feels a little too basic, you know? I don't know. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, I do like the hook, the hook fucking splashes. You gotta have it super fast. It's super fast. I come in last. I can imagine it in one of those really badly animated movies, Under the Sea with Will Smith or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Where it's at the fast food restaurant. And this is like the song from that album, and they're actually using footage from the movie. Super fast. And then you kind of like having that awkward question of what are they eating at this, a fish underwater restaurant? The Mr. Krabs question,
Yeah.
But I always thought that even though I like it in the way they say it, it's always like just kind of pulled my brain in that one way where it's just like aluminum, a crush of fun, aluminum. The sea is radioactive. The sea is radioactive. And it's like what? It's radio. Why are you saying it like that? Why is he saying it like that?
Why do you say it like that?
What accent is that?
When you talk about the intro, what I thought you were going to say was what I was going to reference, that we've done over 200 riff break episodes watching commercials and everything, and I did not recognize the commercial that's sampled at the beginning of the song.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
This morning, you've got time for a hot home-cooked breakfast.
Are you kidding?
Great Start's frozen breakfast sandwiches. Fresh whole eggs, sausage, and cheese on a buttermilk biscuit.
Are you kidding?
Delicious and piping hot in only 3 microwave minutes. Great Starts from Swanson has a whole line of breakfasts you've got time for.
No kidding.
I will say, if we're talking about, I do remember ending up liking the Humans album more than this one. So something felt more cohesive about this one, that one versus this one, where it's just while I still have a fondness for it, certainly some of these tracks, as I look through it, it's just man, there's a lot of gristle in here. That, like I said, even this track that I was expecting to like is oh, De La Soul, Gorillaz, of course, it's gonna be a match made in heaven. But it's just so kind of weirdly slow, and then what they're saying kind of doesn't really what is it? Rap is as many bites that man, are you freaking blonde? That's a rock. What? The rapper that you thought you saw was a rock? What's happening? All mixed in a pot full. Mama's homemade from scratch, but not. And now it gets to the second part that I actually really like, and then they just repeat that in the second half. It's man, it's if this was a Feels Good Inc. type song, that would have felt better, but something just felt kind of lazy about it, especially with how just a little under tempo it feels as an overall song, it just feels
we didn't
have time for okay, let's just tack on, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to, oh shit, the energy's so high, we gotta bring this part back in, you know what I mean? De La Soul, it's a flipped coin as to whether or not I'm going to like any of their songs.
I think Gorillaz is quintessential my listening of this sounds really good, I don't give a fuck what they're saying. So there are definitely parts on here where it's but I don't have any lyrics quoted on any of these. It's just the vibe. So I had a really good time listening to Superfast Jellyfish. I missed all the goofy shit that didn't make sense. That just that was just window dressing.
The way they speak, it's one of those things where, it's better to enjoy it in that I'm just listening to it because they have silly voices on, and the way they do their voices, nope, it feels like something funny happened, but did they actually say anything funny?
Your brain thinks it was funny, but
right?
was it funny?
Yeah. It's sort of we're doing snappy voices, so that's the joke in and of itself.
I don't mean to cross-promote here, but we recorded a O&A Detox this past weekend, and we talked about when people laugh at things that aren't funny. Is that thing funny just because people laughed at it?
If it bends, it's funny. If it breaks, it's not funny. I don't know.
They're essentially torturing someone in the studio and making them cry and everything, and it's people find it funny. It's but is it funny just because people are laughing at it? That kind of thing. And it reminded me of the clip that's circulating now of Jim Brewer doing his stand-up at this, in a tent, at this right-wing festival.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And he's just doing his same old shtick about COVID denial and everything.
And I'm a bird! Dr. Fauci's a bird or something!
Yeah, and he's just doing goofy voices, and the audience, all these white boomers whose kids don't talk to him anymore.
It's their version of laughter, right? It's like, you agree with me, yay!
Yeah, it's like, just because he agrees, does that make it funny? Like, what are you laughing at? That he's saying what you're thinking, or do you genuinely think this is funny? Because I can't see how anyone could genuinely think what he's doing is funny. It's just not... It's not like, oh, I'm offended, I don't find this funny. No, it's like, this just isn't funny.
I think it's spite laughter. I think it's sort of like, yeah, they don't want me to think that way, so ha ha, you know, it's Nelson laughter. But they got main character syndrome, like they think anyone, like, you know, really cares about what they, you know?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So yeah, it falls into that category. But, what did you think of Empire Ants?
Now we're cooking with gas. When we got Little Dragon.
I was about to say, come on.
Now here's where I turn the album on. No, this is an unmitigated banger. I will hear no less. Little Dragon are a treasure to be protected and guarded. My sister like got into them like right before they were on this album, and so like that's the little touch of like there's little touches of like but this album has this on it. Like they had Little Dragon on here twice, like showing this motherfucking awesome ass group some love. Like her voice is just so cool. Like you know what I mean? It's so like chilly and makes an interesting contrast to Damon Albarn's more like you know open and in your face like sort of British drawl. You know.
And I've never heard of Little Dragon before this.
Oh man, they are so cool. They have like their style is just so interesting. It's very like the new wave, you know. What do they call it when black people do it? Neo soul. Yeah. Neo soul. I don't know if we can classify, even though it's like, but their style is so like that, but with this like interesting techno angle under it, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, like my sister was really into them, and like, you know, they just had her, and her style, her voice is so smoky. It's like Amy Winehouse, but its own thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's not her vibe, it's a different vibe. And the way she writes songs is like just interesting too. Like, oh my God, Constant Surprises. That's one of my favorite ones. Constant Surprises, taking my way. You gotta listen to some of her stuff. The music videos especially, they're very cool put together music videos. So it's one of the last bastion of like, oh my God, hey, someone actually put some heart and soul into, you know, the visuals for this. I think there's swimming, and I think there's like Blinking Pigs or something like that. Those are like because it's the swimming one, the one with the, that was the don't. Used to know a boy. And he was so shy. I never knew his thoughts. He never knew mine. You gotta check it out, man. That shit is awesome.
Okay.
And then ooh. Though so many years have passed, my memories is clear as glass. Yeah, dude.
It sounds dope.
That shit is hype. Yeah, definitely check out Swimming. I think it's that one. Blinking Pigs and Twice. Yeah, man. She makes some bangers. Like, I just had to shout her out because, like, oh man, how many times are we gonna get the chance? I know this is out of fucking nowhere, but yeah, this group really is that shit. And it's so when I saw them on here, like right before when my sister was getting me into them, they'd be like, oh shit, they get the bump, and then they never really had like, you know, huge hits after that. But it's like,
that sucks.
That's how it goes. Yeah, stand over there with Janelle Monáe with the incredible, you know, female vocalists who are just not getting their fucking love.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? What did you think of Glitter Freeze? Does this count? I mean, it's long, so...
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes, and I wouldn't skip it if it was like, you know, if I'm driving and I just don't want to put my hand out of the way to like skip it, but it it just feels like it goes on a little too long for what the ideas that are in the song, you know what I mean? Like yeah, there's one part in the middle where it has the cool little freezy peak sort of like sound to it with the nice open it was the glitter free, like that's the one part that's really cool, but everything else just kind of feels like, why is this going on for so long? What? Oh my God. The way I was feeling about a lot of these tracks, especially Superfast Jellyfish, was the way I was feeling was the way those synths sounded at the end of Superfast Jellyfish with
Oh no. Yeah. I was really digging it, and I really liked the sound of it and the feel of it. I like my first note is just like I really, but then like I looked at I was just listening, and I wasn't looking at the time bar or anything. And I just kind of thought to myself,
Is this still happening?
How much longer is this? Like, this is good. This has been going on for quite a while. Oh, shit. This is like a whole nother minute and a half?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Anytime I have ever looked at this song to be like, how long do I still have it? It's always at least like 2 minutes.
God damn.
And it's the same. It's like, dude, just putting it off the time from how it was before doesn't make it more interesting. It's the same thing. It's just, but instead of on the part where it was, we put it on the part where you would expect it to, like, oh my God, it's not that interesting. In the track. Oh my God. And then we get Some Kind of Nature, another dud. I'm sorry.
No!
I'm going in. You're gonna catch, just when Gorillaz thinks they're out cold, they're gonna catch a piece of this heat.
They were counting the lights. Then here you are with the bucket of water. Just wake your ass up. I'm not done with you yet.
With this jittery.
We're only halfway through this.
With this jittery jalopy sounding fucking the quirky 2010s piano sounding pop song. What is this? And it's like 30 years past his prime singing voice. He sounded like he just got woke up from a coke binge or some shit. Some kind of nature, some kind of soul, some kind of something. I don't know what the fuck you want me to. I can't read these lyrics from my.
That's not fair. Lou Reed has always sounded like that.
No, and it's one of those things where it's like, I could see this working if this was like just put together more. There's just something about this that just feels too janky, that just feels like, especially at the end of the verse, that like, what the hell? It actively sounds like someone's trying to edit around the shitty take that he did and be like, well, maybe if we just cut out this part, they won't hear the burping that he did, like, Jesus Christ, why does it sound like this?
Damn.
Now, 2D half saves it when he comes in with the British folksy pop, some kind of nature, some kind of soul. It's like that kind of like, hey, don't mind my friend over there. He's just a little, he's a little 3 sheets to the wind, but he'll be all right.
See, this is the thing. It's so funny. When 2D came in, I actually made note that they kind of sounded similar to me.
Really? No, because he sounds so like some chemical lobe. He sounds like he's slightly too close to the thing. And then when 2D comes in, he's like, some kind of nature. Like, I like that. I really like that part and how it plays with the time. I thought that was really cool. It's like, hey, I wish we could play in this world, but now we got to go back to dum 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 dum. Some kind of chemical poison that wraps up people at night, like phony priests or something. But I really like my. And then he probably said something inappropriate, and so they just cut it off. And it's like, fuck it, we can't do this.
Damn. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt that I do really like Velvet Underground, and I like Lou Reed.
My thing is, it's like I could see, like, my thing is, as I'm listening to it, my brain is going like, there's a version of this I could see being more cohesive. But as it stands, it just feels like, because I don't hate the idea of someone having like a grumbly low voice where he's just kind of like, I like what was it, that one song, the falling out of airplanes and unknown holes. Remember in the Demon Days album where it's like, you're just kind of hearing what's that actor, Dennis Hopper, just kind of talking, just like, and this was happening, and da-da-da-da. And it's like, but I like it because it's like, it feels like something cohesive is happening. Now, not exact same energy, but it kind of feels like he's trying to say something, and I just don't care to hear it because the delivery is just so like, man, it's been a spiritual poison. People pick up and like, I can hear the editor afterwards trying to map his fucking vocals over the beat to make it actually fit. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't hit me. Then we get 2 bangers in a row.
Oh. See, I thought Broken was kind of weak.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The streak has been broken.
Wouldn't you know it?
No,
I actually think the second half is not nearly as strong as the first half.
I just feel like it kind of bumps around in consistency for me. like I said, I like On Melancholy Hill, very glisteny, glassy-eyed Saturday skate pop jam sort of thing. And I think Broken, I think it also matches it. I don't know. It's a different energy, but it also has that sort of glassy-eyed, like, sort of feel to it, you know? And I think there's just something about how what he's saying in the lyrics kind of, like, just makes it hit that pitch of being like, oh, I can kind of visualize. You know what I'm saying? When you like hear a certain piece of music, you're like, wow, I feel like I can visualize what the music video for this would be. Like someone like, being asleep while the TV's, statically glowing, and maybe it's like transmitting like, subliminal messages or something like that, some sort of intrigue, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, I don't know. I really like that track. And it also kind of sounds like it's about like a relationship that's like falling apart, but they're still together. So, they're just kind of like ignoring it. You know what I'm saying? By using technology to ignore it. It's like, okay, so there's a cool sort of theme in there. And On Melancholy Hill also has it's like a slightly similar theme, but it's just kind of like, it feels like it's a theme of like, oh, if someone's broke your heart, like, well, then I'll be the person to console you. It's that sort of thing. So there's a lot of very like somber, sort of semi-narratives kind of going on in the tracks that I think are really cool.
I didn't really dislike any songs on this album. It's just I thought the first half was so much more interesting and had so much more like different shit going on that by the second half, Broken, Plastic Beach.
Yeah, we'll get to that, yeah.
It says it's featuring Mick Jones and Paul Simonon. I originally looked at it and thought it said Mick Jagger and Paul Simon. And I was like, oh shit, what? This is going to be it. And then I was like, oh, it's neither of those people. It's Mick Jones, I guess, of The Clash. I didn't look into it. And I don't know who the other guy is.
Cousin.
Yes, I was like, oh, Yeah, and I liked the beat on it, but then it was just kind of like, I don't know.
When it's just that for a couple of tracks in a row, where it feels like he's, it's like experimenting, but not really dipping into anything specifically. And so I can get how it feels like okay, didn't you already do this? That said, when we get to Sweepstakes, oh man, another one where it's just like, it's one of those things where it's just like, I get what you're doing, but I don't.
Damn it, dude! This is my only other 5. I fucking knew it, too. I fucking knew it. As soon as I was like, oh yeah, it's Mos Def. RC didn't like it. God fucking damn it. No!
But it's like,
I thought this track had everything. I loved it.
It has a bit of energy to it. It has a nice little carnival. Like, the orchestra brings it, you know what I mean? But with just Mos Def doing the same verse, but just kind of slightly different times sometimes, it's just kind of like, okay, like, man, you're really just gonna do this? Like, as I'm listening, it was just like, oh, come on.
Looking at him.
And even what he's
really
saying,
gonna do this.
And the thing is, it's not that deep what he's saying. Like, you know what I mean? If it was like, there are some verses where it's like, damn, that was so cold. You got to say that one again, But it was just like a sun, moon, and starry y'alls, each and every all of y'alls. There's some and there's players and dealers in me. They say that their plan is okay. Well, let's see. Like, it just. Like, I don't know. Like, it's cool enough, but it just feels kind of underwhelming when I think about, like, and you also could have, done an MF Doom thing and wrote a second verse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and look, I'm not against someone repeating verses. I listen to reggae and reggaeton, you know what I'm saying? Where motherfuckers do the, oh, Sean Paul, hey, let's play that first verse again. But there's at least a second verse, There's some contrast so I can go, oh, and now I hear this part, and now it's coming back, oh, and you're kind of doing it, and now I can maybe appreciate it from a different angle. But when it's just like, oh, I just have to hear the exact same thing, just slightly differently again, like, it just doesn't pull my brain in the way that I feel like the creativity is hoping that it pulls my brain. It just feels too jumbled, and I'm just like, my brain doesn't want to invest in it, Oh my God, and now look at this piece of information that I looked up, because I remember it kind of like, this guy being an antagonist was kind of a joke in and of itself. We're just like, oh, but he doesn't really do anything. But this is the backstory. He later appears in the Rhinestone Eyes storyboard, leading the Black Fog attacks on Plastic Beach, and his backstory is explained. He was the rejected fifth horseman of the apocalypse, in parentheses, flatulence, and helped Murdoch with the band's success. He gives up trying to take Murdoch's soul after the Black Fogs' defeat. So it's basically kind of like, oh, here's the whole reason they got popular. It's because of this guy. But he was a fifth horseman of the apocalypse, but he was farts. And it's like,
that's so whack.
Right? I was just like, do you feel the underwhelmingness?
Yeah, that sucks.
And I was thinking, like, well, couldn't they have at least called him, like, Chance or something like that? Because, like, that's what it feels like the song's about, right? Like, it's about, hey, take your chance, you might lose, you're most likely gonna lose. But it's about, exploiting your confidence, you know what I mean? Like, because that's what I was kind of getting as I listened to the verses. And I can kind of enjoy, like, I appreciate it a little bit more now as I'm hearing what he's doing. But it's still that sort of thing where I'm just like, but I'm still not enjoying it,
Yeah, then I wasn't really feeling the title track.
No.
Plastic Beach.
Oh my God. This fucking track. It's just so like repetitive without saying that much again, which is starting to sum up how I felt about a lot of the tracks, honestly, now that I'm looking at it. And why the fuck is he talking about a whale for most of the time? And it's like, what? It's the title track. It's about the plastic beach. What about the plastic beach? And it's like, no, guys, I gotta tell you about, to the dark, dark seas comes the only whale. Watching ships go by. It's the day we try. It doesn't know it's a Casio on a plastic beach. What? Oh, okay. Look, I never typically expect questions to be answered on Gorillaz songs, but you really just didn't do anything there. Like, what? The ship?
Yeah.
There's a ship.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a whale watching ships go by. It doesn't know that there's a Casio on a plane. Who can? What? Why? What is happening? And then all it does for the third part of the track is just like, Casio, Casio, Casio.
God, I hated that.
It's like, what is this? Like, oh, come on.
That sucked.
Then to binge, it really is a balancing act of like, if the music in conjunction to what's happening is good enough, you could overlook some shit, you know what I'm saying? But where this, like you say, like, my heart is in economy due to this autonomy. And I'm like, okay, that was just 2 words that I don't see how related, but okay, but just...
Now you're just saying shit.
Right, but it's the way it's delivered where it has that beleaguered sort of like, because right afterwards he's like, I'm rolling in and caught again. Caught again. Caught again. My heart is an economy. There's something about the delivery and that kind of like sells it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I still enjoy this track, even though it has a sort of like bit of a one note, just kind of someone plucking the guitar while some stuff kind of comes in and out, Then we get to Cloud of Unknowing, which I think is actually a really good track. I feel like I didn't appreciate when I was younger, because it was kind of like, just slow, like, well, this is what we're doing. Oh, we got to have, all right, so you like Bobby Womack, you wanted to have him on the big single, then you wanted to kind of give him his own song where he just kind of goes like, okay, it feels like you got respect for this artist, so you kind of, you're fanboying out, But as I come back to it, I actually really appreciate this song. It's sort of like the ending sort of ambiguous, where are things going, feels like there's a weather vane spinning, maybe there's a hurricane in the distance, and maybe we're up on a high up view and you're like, oh, maybe it'll go in another way, maybe it'll dissipate, but we're still stuck in that just ambiguity of like just trying to figure out what's gonna happen next, and I mean, it could be about a relationship, or it could be about like feeling a boy was like, oh man, is everything screwed, can we salvage this, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's a really cool solid track. How'd you feel about that one? you couldn't bring yourself. You weren't feeling it.
Like, I just thought this album just kind of fell apart at the end. I like Bobby Womack. I thought the song itself was beautiful. I thought it sounded great.
It just didn't capture your interest, yeah.
No, and I don't know what the ending is.
What, the pirate jet song? Pirate jet, pirate jet. Pirate jet. Again, one verse. It's all good news now because we left the taps running for 100 years. With the Frankenstein sense, like drinking to the drink, the plastic. Like, it kind of starts off kind of sounding like it's saying something, like, oh yeah, I guess these are kind of like bottom feeder people who have kind of like survived after the great chemical, whatever the heck happened. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, things were kind of screwed over, but we got to benefit from it, I guess. But then it's just like, drink into the drink, the plastic cup, drink into the cup, oh, with the people, the plastic eating. Like, this man really just sounds like he was just like floundering for what to say. Like, the drink into the drink, the plastic cup you drink. It's like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Overall, I give this a 3.5 out of 5.
I ended up giving it a 4.
Now look at that.
Right? Definitely not the outcome that I expected.
Check your expectations at the door when it comes to the Going On podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, exactly. Expect the unexpected. With that, we've got LP's I'll Sleep When You're Dead, requested by Wrist of Kings.
Woohoo.
From 2007, this one.
Yeah, right at the tail end of the Bush administration.
As much as I always get into a new Run the Jewels album when it comes out, I never really took the time to go back and listen.
Yeah, he's not been my white underground rapper that I've got. Mine was Aesop Rock.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I gotta say it, listening to this album, I was sitting there thinking, I don't know if I need Killer Mike. Like, there were a couple songs on here where it was like, I think this dude's strong enough to carry a whole fucking thing that if he was just releasing solo shit, I think it would be pretty fucking strong on his own, honestly. Not to say that Killer Mike doesn't bring,
he does his thing, yeah.
No, yeah, I think he's very talented too. My opinion of his has wavered over the years, but, if I was listening to this album again, I would skip it, that would be The Overly Dramatic Truth.
Oh, yeah. I got that feeling too.
The Overly Dramatic Truth is a story about a relationship that went wrong because I was way older than the girl. That's unfortunate.
Skeevy.
And there were just inherent problems in the way we dealt with each other. It's more of a conversation between me and this girl. Yeah, I didn't need this. Yeah. This was awkward.
And it kind of, it just doesn't go anywhere with it.
No.
I don't know. It just, and it feels just overly intense for what he's actively saying in the story. Like, it feels like it doesn't really end up grappling with the demons in the way that an Atmosphere song would, you know what I mean?
No.
Where it's oh, you're going to this dirty, dingy place, but I can see that you're really bearing your soul on it. It feels like, oh, you just, I don't know what's, but yeah, now there's a later line that I think is really interesting that kind of talks about the general idea of people being imperfect and stuff like that, and I get that he's trying to get to that and to certain splashes of what happens later, but yeah, this track just kind of feels like you just took me to this place and you didn't really resolve it in a way that felt good, so now I just know this and I'm like, oh,
It's back to back here. I didn't really care for Flyentology either, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Look. Okay, this was the single. Do you remember this single when it came out?
No.
This was actually the one that got me to kind of turn my ears to LP a little bit when I first heard this track.
Oh, really?
Because I remember seeing this it was on Music Choice or something like that. I was like, ugh. When I was sick of MTV, it's I just play the same videos. I want to see where I can find new stuff, And it was oh, this guy LP, Flyentology, what a weird title, I got to check it out. And it's the music video. Did you see the music video with the early, the mid 2000s looking animation that kind of looked, groundbreaking at the time? Oh, look at this in your ad for some kind of Mint Mobile or something like that,
No, I haven't seen the video.
Oh,
for
check out the video real quick. Have a look at it. You'll totally get those mid 2000s animation vibes. But yeah, it has now I get what you're saying in a certain respect, because I've always kind of felt like it has this sort of grunge to it where it's it doesn't feel finished or perfect, but that kind of feels like the appeal of it to a certain degree. I've always kind of felt like, I like the message of the song, so it kind of forgives the weirdness of the production. And I think there's something they're kind of doing with the production by making it this weird, like, it's lo-fi, so it feels light, but it still has this heavy, you know, trashy drum sort of feel to it. You know, there's like Trent Reznor, I think he's like working on the production, but it's like, yeah, it comes together in a really janky way that feels like I always find myself feeling like, am I not listening to this on the right speakers? You know what I mean? Like,
I was excited to see that Trent Reznor was on it. I was like, oh shit, okay. Yeah, I was just kind of underwhelmed by it, honestly. And I gotta say, my big pet peeve here, LP uploaded, or someone uploaded, this video for Flyntology to his official LP page only 3 years ago, mind you.
whoa.
And it's 144p. It looks like shit.
Oh no.
Did you not have a master copy of this? Why does it look so bad?
Oh, all those animators' work gone to waste.
It's the only quality option. 144p.
Oh, you don't get to experience the majesty of the resolution.
You know, it's funny, this is unrelated, but it reminded me, and I don't know when else I'd ever have a chance to say this. Remember that we listened to Five Iron Frenzy, the Christian ska band?
Oh, yes,
like 20 episodes ago. They put out a documentary DVD of called like The Rise and Fall of Five Iron Frenzy, and I checked it out because I wanted to see their story. And they had a couple of their music videos on it, and they weren't online anywhere. And one of them was seriously just a VHS rip of it having aired on like MTV2. So you see the MTV2, like the two-headed dog logo in the corner and everything. It's just like, oh shit, really?
Did you not
wow.
get your own video? What happened?
Yeah, did you lose it? What happened? But yeah, honestly, besides that, I think the rest of the album is really fucking strong, dude. I guess we could just start at the beginning.
Yeah, let's go back up
Tasmanian Pain Coaster.
Whoa,
if this
what an
isn't
intro.
the perfect opening track for an LP album.
Absolutely.
Because it just goes for it and doesn't give a shit what it is. like
the Twin Peaks intro with the
oh my
what
god,
happens if you fall in space? It's like,
they
yo.
fucking know how to get me hooked, man. A fucking
my
Twin
God.
Peaks sample to open your album, that's cheat code.
Made me want to watch Twin Peaks. Goddamn.
Oh god, yeah.
Do I need to watch this show? Because holy shit.
Yes.
What in the world is this thing?
Okay,
Oh,
I
no,
will
I'm
tell
gonna
you.
watch Twin Peaks. Ah.
The sample says it's from Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me. Don't watch that first. Watch, because that's a movie and it's a prequel, but it's spoilers for the series. So you gotta watch the series first, then the movie, then the Twin Peaks revival season that came out like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have quotes. I have quotes from this one. The whole design got my mind crying. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Dying, I'm flying. The same line. No disguise, guy. I'm bent up. No, the sky's high by coincidence, and I'm blind, insignificant. To the ground function on Munson, it's the dreaded 710 split again. And then it is, oops, fuck, screwed the pooch, asked too much, knew the truth, on the train now, a caboose, it's my brain now, no recluse. Fuck!
The way because the way it starts, so it's just like, he's like, voted to this kid I knew. He would often walk straight, so I ignored the blood on his laces so this cat could save face. It's like, oh, like it already feels like, oh, we're in the middle of some action, something's happening, you know?
I guess I was so drawn to it because it's basically an Aesop Rock song too. like the feel of it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's a good bit of Weathermen representation on the album. You got Aesop Rock later. You got Tame One on a track. You got Cage. They're all over this thing.
First track is definitely killer. It's fucking incredible. This is the sound of what you don't know killing you. This is the sound of what you don't believe still true. Like, Jesus Christ, talking about getting under your skin.
So fucking intense, like always.
Yeah. Oh, man.
They got Smithereens, Stop Crying.
Stop crying.
I wrote down, how is this song 4.5 minutes? This track flew by. Like, it just fucking blew by.
Oh, man, this is how we should have started the podcast. Bring me the dramatic intro machine.
Oh, yeah. I think think I brought enough drama.
Yeah. But
I got the whole audience crying.
Oh, for sure. Oh, not a dry eye in the podcast.
And I know that's why they had us sing that at the 8th grade graduation, because they knew our like all of our parents were in the audience, and they just wanted the parents to cry. That was fucking cheap.
But even just the way the verse starts was like, fell asleep, late neon buzz, and like, you know, first of all, the way the track starts, you hear all this buzzing synth that's happening, and then you actually hear what sounds like him kind of like waking up. Like, it actually feels like the sound of him like in the middle of waking up, like going like, huh, and you hear like a little like blearing thing that's like coming in to relieve like a, and you hear like what sounds like an alarm or something like that in the background. Like, it's so cool how it actually feels like, oh shit, we're starting his day like for real. Yeah. And PTS, stress, we do drugs, city air, strange, sticky lungs, Mayor Doomberg gives no funds, and I'm crying. Fucking
Doomberg. That's great.
He says, like, in a world full of super duper whores, the kids just want a little more, and then you hear in the background someone going, more! Like,
oh yeah,
screaming so intensely, but it's in the background, so it just kind of surprises you a little bit. Where you're like, "What the fuck? Like, who was that?"
Yeah, I love all the kind of in the background, blink and you miss it type shit.
Yeah, it really adds texture to the song. Yeah.
Up All Night has a killer fucking drum beat right out the gate, and quote on this one. You're my daddy, you'll protect me. I need guidance to live correctly. I can't fight you. Feed me. I'm your servant. You're my teacher. Yo, what the fuck, Al? Oops, I'm sorry. That's the implant talking for me.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out what was going on there, because I was like, wait, I thought he was the rebel that, I'm fighting against the system, goddammit, and I'm pissy, and I got piss and vinegar, and I'm angry at the system, and now it's like, wait, but now you got the implant, you got the chip, what's happening? Like, is he playing a character? Is that not really him there, or?
This album goes in some really interesting places with these songs. Like, something I really appreciate is how diverse and, like, topics and settings we get on here.
Yeah, it feels like you're in this, like, you know, in a future, maybe not too far from yours, you know, like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Real Twilight Zone feel to, like, as every track goes, futuristic Twilight, you know? And then, oh my God, EMG, with the fucking first line, how he kicks out the door, heart of an altar boy molested in confession who plotted for 20 years, then slit the throat of a reverend. It's like, oh, fuck. But the thing is, okay, but the way it started with the everything must go, where it sounded like it was supposed to be like a parody ad or something like that.
Oh,
but it doesn't really go that way, right? Like,
yeah, I didn't know what the deal with that was.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how that connected, but I was like, I don't feel like it does.
Save that Fourth Reich boogie for them plastic twits, or the old woman of fate stitching the casket knits. I'll be drunk on the back of the train taking a piss, bumping BDP through a Raheem kit with double D Duracell Destiny Mega Mix. Like, it's like, goddamn, man.
I didn't drive. Oh my God, yo.
This fucking song with its one-liners.
Well, he does have, this isn't like a one-liner line, but it was just kind of like, hey, why would you do your voice like that? It's like, I'll keep the track running even when muddy, because my insurance don't cover leaving behind the pit crew that love me, so I drive. And it's like, hey, these guys are helping you. Yeah, what the fuck, LB?
Yeah, I liked it. It was like, was this supposed to be just like a young kid who's just like driving for the first time? Because it's what it felt like, just like this kid who doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah,
but like acts like he's tough shit.
I don't know. I was just enjoying the fucking atmosphere of what was happening. Where it was just like, yeah, just like, oh my God, the fucking dinkly keys in the background. The fucking, it was just the atmosphere of this track. It just felt like dope ass driving music. Like even just as he was talking, like it was just like, I don't really know where this story's going, but it makes me want to fucking drive right now. Like, you know.
The two one-liners I've quoted is when he says, you're riding shoddy with Jesus of NASCAR-ith.
Yeah, NASCAR-ith.
That was pretty funny. And then this one just out of pocket as hell. I'll wrap your promo truck with a NAMBLA stencil to prove that you're fucking babies? Jesus Christ.
God damn.
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this one was dope, though. Really great punchlines.
Yeah, no, this is a solid track for sure.
Now, here, on Dear Sirs...
Whoa.
This was what I wrote down that I think LP could carry Run the Jewels by himself with how this song is 1.5 minutes and it goes for the throat harder and faster than like 90% of Run the Jewels catalog.
Yeah, like I felt like my eyebrows back and I felt like I had to pull my scalp back on from just like
there was
listening
no way I was going to quote any of it. It's all, the whole thing.
Gotta just listen to this fucking song.
It's so
my Lord.
ridiculous.
Jesus Christ. Man.
Then we get Aesop Rock on Run the Numbers.
Yes.
We get 2 fucking standalone shouty samples. The find those detonators. Find those detonators.
That was so hype.
And then there's the other one, the fucking Kill Bill.
Now's the fucking time!
I was like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Oh
Love
my
that
God.
shit.
That was when I was
Pop for
like,
fucking
whoa.
Kill Bill shit.
Yeah, that was when I was like, whoa, why don't we more people sample this? Like, that's so perfect. Is it time to get down? Now's the fucking time.
Now here's what's weird though, because we gotta remember this is 2007 in New York, that in 2023, if you hear somebody spouting off 9/11 conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
you kind of shut them out. You kind of think like, well, there's probably something more beneath the surface there, but this shit was so fucking common at the time.
Yeah, and especially him as a New Yorker, an underground rapper who,
Yeah.
you know, let's face it, rappers are all about, exploiting the dramaticness of, a populace's imagination. You know what I'm saying?
I'm very happy to see where LP ended up.
Right. This could have gone a different way.
Yeah, because when I was still on Facebook and Instagram with people I grew up in in New Jersey, you fucking saw 9/11 turn everyone into the most, like, bootlicking, cop-loving, like, everybody. Like, 9/11 was the biggest piece of propaganda for everyone up there.
And
that is just like, oh, come on, stop.
Now, isn't that interesting how it pulls people down these 2 lanes? Either you're like, we cling to the cops and we must love them, or it's like, I can't trust anybody and anytime any authority says anything, I can't believe it. Like, it's weird how it really, like, split people's brains, like... Yeah.
Or it just made them extremely Islamophobic, which is the case for most people, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh my God. Isn't it crazy how it's like, whoa, there was a very recent time where it was just like, it's never been great towards any brown people, of Middle Eastern descent, but it's just like the fact that it amped up at a time where we were supposed to be I thought it was 1999, the end of history. I thought everything's basically fine now and there's no discrimination. Then it's like, what did those brown people do to us?
It reminds me of the fallout following COVID against Asian people. It's just like people are already racist. They don't need an excuse.
Right.
But anything to bring attention to a very specific group of people, they will latch onto that and be like, oh, good. Now I can be outwardly racist and people might agree with me. Because I could blame something traumatic on this one group of people.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I wrote down when I was listening to the song, it's like, as I listened to this track of like a New Yorker, like dealing with this, like it feels like a trauma response, really. Like just the way that it ends the song. Like first, like it recolors what's happening in the song now, because then you're like, oh, it just feels like, oh, it's just like action-packed song about something, and then you hear the part about the 9/11 bit at the end where it's like, oh, and we were standing when there was some sort of like, and then it's like, holy shit, is this a sort of like, oh man, I wish we could have done something. I wish we could have changed, fucking Mark Wahlberg. If I was on the plane, I would have been able to do something, or whatever the fuck he says.
Habeas corpses. Oh man.
Oh man, this song. We both just went like, oh man. Holy God, it's so intense when it starts off with just the so-and-so number, please step forward. And then just the very real sound of a gun, just pow. Next person, please step forward. Pow. And it's just like, oh my God. And then it's just like, it just keeps happening in the background. And you're like, Jesus, like I'm just holding my head together because my brain is just feeling the craniums cracking from the fucking shooting that's going on as the song continues. And I'm like, oh my God, am I just supposed to just ignore that? Like, holy fuck. Like, this is on that, Rosemary's Baby level of artistry where it's like, this is great. I never want to see this again because I don't want to go to the headspace that this took me to.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know what you mean. I'm not trying to spoil the song for people, but yeah, because I really think like this one is, oh boy. But the story here is LP and Cage are both executioners on a prison ship.
Right.
And all I'll say is a prisoner walks up and LP like falls in love with this prisoner, and it goes down some really weird places.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like it feels like this thing was like, it feels like it's pulling you on this really dark thing of like you know, yeah, a lot of Oscar-winning movies, right, are about like shitty people dealing with the consequences or whatever the fuck, but it just gets so like, oh my god, just the way Cage and them talk to each other, we're just like, oh yeah, bro, you can go on a spree, you know, it's just like, oh
yeah,
man,
and he's like, no, it's not like that.
Like,
but it
the
probably
fact that he's
has been like that in the
yes,
past.
That's what he's pulling at you. You're just like, oh, he has to bat that away. Like, no, not like we normally do. No, like,
yeah, like it's bad. It's a very dark song, so I'll let people know that it deals with some shit, but. Oh my god, as far as a song that like really paints a picture and gives you really like interesting compelling characters. Yeah. This is definitely up there.
Just to jump on the Flyentology real quick though, like again, it's so that like, you know, the 2000s underground rap, so we don't care about, you know, making it sound, if you don't like it, then you can fuck off and talk about the lyricism in the story, you know what I'm saying? That sort of feel to it. But, you know, I still enjoy it for what it is, and also, I kind of do like the message of what it is, right? Like, that idea of, like, you know, we're all so righteous and above, you know, people who are religious until we're the ones who are going through the disaster, right? Like, you know, where he's like, it's the, whoa, there is no atheists in the foxholes. Whoa, there is no intellect in the air. Whoa, there is no scientist on the way down. Just a working example of faith versus physics. Like, I do think that hook is really cool. Yeah. And the sort of like, keep me in the sky, that's all that I'll say. I will be a servant at least for this day. You know, like, I love how he really spells it out, how, like, that's what I do. Like, I love how he uses the lyricism to really explain the emotion in a real way. The part where he says, I adore you the same way that others always adored you. Emergency humility, just break glass. It's like, I implore with no knowledge of dogma to conform to. I know I don't deserve it, but save my ass. Like, this is the vessel of my awakening. God damn it, put your hands out, carry me. Like, I love how it really gives you that emotion, you know? And it's like, yeah, that's how, and again, where it's like, oh, right, 2007, still in the Bush years. Oh, fuck, this is a, you know, I mean, Flyentology on a plane and someone wanting to be saved is like, holy fuck, like, this, again, trauma response music right here, like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's just so crazy how I didn't notice that as many times as I had listened to the song before, how it's a directly, like, referencing 9/11 thing. Like, whoa.
I did really like the League of Extraordinary Nobodies.
Man, what a track.
We got a studio audience laughing at the end of all the lines in the first verse. Less and less people are laughing as the lines go. Song is about dealing with cocaine abuse, and it ends with him saying, I hear the cackles of the crowd, they're laughing at us, and we haven't even gotten to the part where it's a joke.
Yeah. Like, at the end, yeah. Oh, but the way he starts it, where he's like, because it's the story about him, like, yeah, you know, being on coke and, you know, being with this girl and, like, not really loving her, but it's kind of like taking advantage of the moment, you know, because, like, hey, she wants it, so whatever, you know. But the way he describes it is like, I just realized the tragedy of this is that her hand is on my leg, and so she clearly wants to fuck. And though I'm wired, I would certainly oblige. I can't continue getting high and then confusing it for lust. I'm not an angel, but the baggie we unfolded and just split to give a lick is dripping out of me colored rust. And you seem nice, but I still hate you for the moment because I'm too smart to be open. This is artificial trust. Like, just how it pulls you into that emotion of going like, I want this for the instant gratification, but I know this isn't, like, this is a me thing, you know? Like, really gets you to feel that, you know?
The Poisonville Kids No Wins and Reprise featuring Cat Power.
I actually really liked it. I thought it was a good 1-2 punch. I want to shout out a certain lyric that was on the previous track real quick, because I just noticed, where he says, this is one that really hit me. The League of Extraordinary Nobodies, where he goes like, I've been wondering how arrogant it is for me to keep doing the things that killed so many that we know. I've been noticing how quickly motherfuckers have the answers to existence just as soon as someone goes. Like, that was a gut punch line in this song. This is like a gut punch line in the next song as well. But just the idea of like, I'm doing all this coke and all this thing is like, wait, there are so many people that have died that we know that have died from doing this thing. Like, what the, how smart do I think I am? How arrogant do I think I am that it probably won't happen to me yet, you know? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I've always thought about that. Like, why did people keep doing crack in the 90s? It's like, you know, it's not going to be good. You know, like,
right.
Who's still like, well, I don't know.
Damn.
But yeah, I liked Poisonville Kids No Wins. I thought it really, like, because I was slowly trying to figure out what was going on in the song. And I really liked the 007 trumpet hits.
Yeah.
And the kind of switch up that happens where you kind of like get like different, different measurement times, different beat times. And then where it kind of like flipped into this verse about like getting like righteously indignant at someone who wanted to commit self-deletion. Yeah, but it does it in this way where it doesn't feel insensitive for the most part. Like, it feels like it's coming from this place of like, God damn it, no, like, we're supposed to be, doing this. You know what? Like, there's one part where he says, what was it? It's just the way he said. It's one of those things where it's just like, I'm angry at you, but because I love you and I want you to not do this. You know what I mean? It so gives you that feeling, and which is such a hard emotion to balance, where he says like, it's the stuff I find hard for discussion. How the fuck do you explain your own self-destruction and still remain trusted? And that was the part where it was just like, oh shit. Like, it's someone you like bearing this soul to you, but then I'm telling you that I'm a shitty person. And so it's kind of like so how can I build this bridge if me coming forward to be honest with you is the thing that's probably going to make you not like me? It's like, that's such a hard, like, oh, fuck. Like, this is like one of the biggest issues with society, right? Like, how do we handle restorative justice and issues like that? It's like, holy fucking shit. And so the fact that it's handling that, like, it feels like there's that balancing act of like, it's like, so kind of like trying to have sympathy for the devil. And then, so it kind of feels like there's this thing where it's going like the type of person who'd be like, I'm such an awful person, I should just da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? And so this person going like, no, this life is hard and you need to deal with it the way we all need to do it. You know what I mean? And just giving him like the tough love that feels just sort of like, holy fuck. So yeah, and just the way he says it, it's like, so what the fuck are you feeling that makes your struggle so wondrous? Enough to arrogantly pull what's left of the rug out from under us. I think not. You're in the same barrel as us other crabs are caught. And if I have to live, you have to live, whether you like this shit or not. It's just like, holy fuck. Like, it feels mean, but you can tell it's from a place of love. So it's just like, it just grinds in you as you hear what he's saying. You know what I mean? This is just the one part in particular. He says like, you are not uniquely pained, and if you go, we won't be sorry. And who the hell are you to put me through the banality of watching this? Because many men better than us have gone for clearly better reasons, and I starkly must remind you that you have not even been trying. That's the only thing remarkable about you. Stop me if I'm lying. And like, that was the one that felt the most a little kind of like, oh hey dude, like, whoa. Like that feels like that's gonna teeter you're playing Life is Strange right now and you're trying to keep the girl from stepping out the back. You haven't even really done that much yet. It's like, I don't think that one's gonna help, but
it's the one weird choice that the video game will allow you to make. Like, okay, you're allowed like one fuck up in this dialogue. If you fuck up twice, though, things are not gonna end well.
Right?
You're allotted one.
Yeah.
One grace.
But for the most part, I feel like it. I mean, again, this is a very weighty topic, and I wouldn't have tried to do it. So oh man, but yeah, holy God, just the way he says it. But it's that sort of thing that I like that he's being irreverent and using that for this emotionally touching purpose.
Yeah.
Like there's something about the channeling of his typical irreverence that you've heard up to this point, and to being something to like push someone into the will to live in a way that really like connects the song. Like just the way he says it. Oh my God. So what does he say? There's one part in particular. Yeah, and the way he flips it, that's what because it's like the album is called I'll Sleep When You're Dead, and so that comes off very sort of like, man, thumb in your nose, fuck whoever I'm talking to, blind anger. But the way the title drop is used is when he says, to answer the question, yes, the city wants you gone. And that's the only thing connecting us, but the connection is so strong. So how dare you assume that I'll sleep when you're dead? This is well outside the boundaries of acceptable behavior. I will not give you the go-ahead, and you will not be remembered fondly. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Fuck you. This isn't your decision. And for all the holy fuck I give, your little spectacle is ended. It's just like, whoa. It's just like a holy shit. It's just like, it feels like the guy saying, like, instead of doing the, oh no, you tried to do this, oh let me be, it's just like, no bro, you need this tough love right now.
Yeah.
But it's like the patent kick in the ass that you need to put the battery in your back. You know what I mean? Where it, like, other than that one line, but like for the most part, it's kind of like, holy shit, like, man, it's inspiring. But it's fucking crazy. What would you give this out of 5?
I got a 4.
I give it a 5, honestly. There's something about the way it just is willing to run into the grunginess of what these topics are that makes me respect it. You know what I mean? Even if I'm looking away and flinching at some parts, Like,
yeah, I don't know how I got a 4 when only 2 tracks were kind of weak. I would probably honestly bumped it up to at least a 4.5. Fucking overly dramatic. Couldn't have brought it down that much. I'm trying to see where that could have happened, honestly.
Well, I feel like the experiences
most of the songs I gave 4, 4.5s, or 5, so I don't know where that happened.
I feel like probably like the averages of them being 4s, because I feel like maybe like the experience of some of the songs, kind of keeps it from being that all the way, oh yeah, you gotta hear this, because like there was a grunginess to a lot of this, right? Like,
well, folks, that brings the Going Off podcast this week to a close. Hope you were looking forward to a long one, because you got it. And we will continue to bring you these double-packed, sometimes triple if we could find one, reviews for future episodes. And like we said earlier, that is our Ko-fi is ko-fi.com/goinoff. That is GOINOFF. We're also on Twitter and Patreon and all that. And as a reminder to everyone about where our episodes are located, the SoundCloud page is still active, but I'm not uploading to it anymore. So the Lady Gaga episode was the Lady Gaga Megan Thee Stallion album episode was the last one posted to SoundCloud, and the last episode was posted to Anchor. So it's on anchor.fm is the new home for Going Off, and that's the RSS feed is where it's all coming from for Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. So there's more options than ever, which is awesome. And as another reminder, I'm currently redoing old episodes of the podcast, remastering the audio, making it sound a little better while I'm at it.
Mixed and remastered. Yeah, updating.
I'm remastering the volume, sometimes it's a little low, trying to make the episodes sound better, cutting out all the bullshit, and giving you just the best bits. So hopefully in the near future, every episode ever will be available on streaming again. That's the dream. That's the hope. Patreon, Ko-fi, Twitter, YouTube. I got the Fan House. Fanhouse. What is it? Fanhouse.app/rifcoms. There it is.
That's right.
And you're holding it down on the streamings.
Yes, twitch.tv/rapcritical if you want to join in on my streams, as well as kofi.com/rapcritic for everything outside of album requests that aren't specifically new rap albums, or movie requests or album stream requests where we can just kind of like listen to an album. It's not like a full request, but people enjoy the live aspect of it. So Ko-fi.com/rapcritic for everything outside of album requests, and Patreon.com/rapcritic for ongoing donation if you want to join in and see the new episodes we've got coming out before they end up coming out. I can never remember when these are coming out, so I feel like saying, well, part 1 of the best is out, but then both of them might be out by the time this is out. So basically you're gonna be seeing the episodes early, all right? And you get to join the Patreon Discord to chat with me and fellow fans, as well as get to hear new music that I'm working on. There's some new music that is actually going to be coming out near the end of the month that my main man who helps me with production just sent to me the one of the final mixes of. So I'm like, hell yeah. So you can be hearing that music first before everyone else does. Get with it, act like you want, at Patreon.com/rapcritic. You get to hear my movie podcast, my new episodes early, and like I said, the Discord. I'm just trying to make sure I said everything. All right, and now I'm done.
But until next time, for Going Off, I'm Muse.
And I'm the Rap Critic, and we have to tell the people. No, burn it. The people will get more out of what Justin Roiland represented than from the Justin Roiland he really was.